Joining us now for reaction, member of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter. Congressman, great to have you on. Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's just go through this. 2032 is now less than 10 years away. And according to Reuters, the average American keeps their car for 12 and a half years. So what happens in 2032 to people who are buying cars right now, or people like Joe Biden himself who own classic cars? Joe Biden has a 1967 Corvette that I guarantee has not been retrofitted to comply with 2032 emission standards.
Well, that's a good question because, I've got a truck that is almost 20 years old now, and I love my truck, and I want to keep my truck. Look, I'm glad that EVs are coming out, and I think that EVs are good choices for someone, but consumer choice is good for everyone. That's why I voted in favor of the Cars and Retail Sales Act that was passed in a bipartisan fashion that would give consumers the opportunity to choose. This is the problem. This is a situation when government picks winners and losers. It never works out. I think there's going to be a market for EVs. I'm very excited. In my district, we've got the largest single economic development project in the history of our state, and it's going to be producing EVs. And I'm very excited about that. I think they're going to do exceptionally well. There will be a market for EVs, but we can't be forcing people into this. It has to be consumer choice.
I love the way that you just put that. I'm all for EVs myself. The technology isn't there yet. When it finally is ready and cars can come out and they cost, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, terrific. But we're not there yet, so don't force this on the American people. I want to read everyone at home the statement that you put out earlier this week. You said basically the Biden administration is, quote, doubling down on its rush to go green that forces Americans to drive unaffordable, less reliable electric vehicles. Today's announcement only benefits the Chinese Communist Party, which controls the critical minerals in the supply chain. Can you just take us through exactly how all of this benefits China more than it benefits us here in the U.S.?
Look, China right now is the OPEC of critical minerals. They control critical minerals, and that's one thing that we're trying to address in the subcommittee that I chair on energy and commerce, and that is how can we break this cycle of dependence on our adversaries like China when we need to be mining here in America, we need to be processing here in America if this is the way it's going to go. Look, I believe in climate change. I believe that it is real, and I believe it's cyclical. I don't think, like some of the extremists, that if we don't have this resolved by day after tomorrow, we're going to fry. But I do believe that we need to address it. And I think there are a lot of conservatives who believe this as well. We've come a long way in this debate here. But at the same time, we've got to be careful. I've witnessed it. I've been to Europe. I've seen where they've let their policies get ahead of their innovation. And that is not good. And we need to learn an important lesson from them in Europe.
Good point. Congressman, I want to pivot and talk about this spending bill. Could hit the floor for a vote today. It's 1,000 pages long, $1.2 trillion. According to Politico, many Republicans in the House are not happy with Speaker Mike Johnson, who's plowing forward with his plan to fund the government at a cost. House conservatives have renewed their threats that any actions against the Louisiana Republican are now on the table, meaning just like Kevin McCarthy was ousted back in October, you could vote to oust Speaker Mike Johnson. Could that actually happen here? Could you see that happening again?
Well, I could see it happening again. I hope I don't see it happening. Look, October was not fun at all, and Mike's been dealt a hand that is very, very difficult. I just left him in the gym just a little while ago, and it's tough. He's in a tough position right now. But I appreciate what my colleagues are trying to do. This is out of control. We've got to get spending under control. I think that leadership did the best they could in negotiating this deal, but we got to keep in mind we only have control of the House. We don't have control of the Senate. We don't have control of the White House. If we can get those, then yes, we can make even more significant changes than have been made with this budget here.
Yeah, and Ralph Norman, your colleague from South Carolina, has been very vocal about this being a possibility with Mike Johnson. Can you make the case for, again, we're 7.5 months away from a very important election, your home state, Georgia, crucially important to the presumptive nominee, Donald Trump, on November the 5th. Can you make the case for me how ousting Mike Johnson right now, so close to an election, is going to be a good thing for Republicans?
No, I can't make that argument. I don't think it's going to be a good thing. I don't think it's a good idea. I do believe that Mike Johnson has done the very best that he could do and that he can do with the hand that he's been dealt. Let's face it again. You know, if we had control of all three of the bodies, then perhaps it would be, it would be a different scenario. But it's not.
Right.
And we just have to keep that in mind. Look, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is a big bite. We got some wins in this budget. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got some wins, and I hope it sets the stage for more fiscal responsibility here in government.
Yeah, if the old saying, it's better to get 50% of a good deal than 0% of a bad deal. Congressman, we'll be watching what happens today on the House floor. Appreciate you joining us. Have a great weekend. Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter, thank you.
Thank you.